Welcome, welcome. I am Dr. Patrice Berry, licensed psychologist, and here I cover legal and entertainment news from a psychological perspective. So, we just finished talking about Kevin Frankie. So, I normally go live Saturdays at 2 p.m. And this was the video that I had planned, but then I saw that news. And so I had to do an extra stream today. All right. And I want to say thank you to my moderators for being here. Please know if you use all caps, Nightbot does not like that. I'm so glad that y'all were that the redirected thing that YouTube redirected some of you all here safely. Sometimes it doesn't always work. So welcome to the stream. Here's a little background on this case for anyone who does not know. So the Adelson family. Wendi Adelson, and her testimony is going to be the part that we're going to take a look at today. This is a case that happened earlier last year. I didn't talk about it. And somebody asked me to talk about the family. And we are going to talk about Donna. So, Donna, the mother, so Wendi Adelson, her mother, the grandmother to the children. She is the one, Donna is currently facing charges. Charlie, we're going to watch testimony from his trial. He was found guilty of conspiring to capital M his brother-in-law. That he hired the hitman through his girlfriend and paid he paid her to pay the person. I think it was her ex-boyfriend. Like the case was just it was a web of people. Wendi Adelson is an unindicted co-conspirator and is considered guilty until proven otherwise. My heart breaks for her children. Can we start there? My heart breaks for her kids who lost their dad. And it's my understanding that so the father, Wendi Adelson's husband, is Dan Markell, and they were involved in a really bad custody dispute. Wendi wanted to move out of wherever they were living to be closer to her mom, Donna. Wendi wanted to move, and Dan Markell was stopping that. And like there's a lot of messages, and the state who they started with are the people who actually did the crime, and then they started their case against Charlie. Because y'all correct me if I'm wrong, this happened in 2014. So Dan Markell was capital M'd in 2014. And the whole case, everything revolving around it, like it is just out of a Lifetime movie. Like it just keeps getting weirder and weirder. And so when things are this strange, I really enjoy talking about it so that we can try to make sense of some of this. Wendy's testimony. Okay. So in my opinion, I think Wendi is going to distance herself from her family a little because Donna Adelson, she was arrested, Wendy's mom. Donna Adelson was arrested on her way. She got a one-way ticket to Thailand. I want to say it was Vietnam. She got a one-way ticket to Vietnam, and Vietnam does not have extradition to the United States. So they were tracking everything and they realized, oh, she's about to run, and she was arrested at the airport. If you follow the lawyer, he has a ton of videos covering this. He covered the video of Donna getting arrested. If y'all like the body language side of this, Dr. G explains. He's done some phenomenal videos covering a lot of this as well. I'm here to just talk about some of the family dynamics that I've observed. Just once again, my opinions, my thoughts. So, this is not a psychological evaluation. These are just my thoughts and opinions. That's my disclaimer. So, let's get into Wendy's testimony. Lee. All right.
Work and I fundraise for nonprofit organizations.
Are you an attorney?
By training, yes.
Okay. How long have you been a member of the Florida Bar?
Since I graduated and took the bar in 2006.
I'm trying to find the captions. For some reason, it's not. Okay, there we go. All right. There we go. This is weird, but
And are you here today pursuant to a subpoena?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And that subpoena confers use and derivative use immunity to you. So nothing you say can be used against you in the future.
That is correct.
That doesn't mean you have full immunity from prosecution, but nothing you say here and nothing derived from it could be used in that prosecution. Is that your understanding?
That is my understanding.
so there are times that Wendi, to me, she comes across like she's trying to downplay her intelligence a little bit. So a lot of you all saw my Shonda Vander Ark video. And to me, when she was on the stand, she was trying to play up her intelligence. She was trying to play up how intelligent she is, how smart she thought she was. To me, Wendi seems to be like trying to come across just like a sweet, soft-spoken. These are just my thoughts, my opinions. Anybody else getting those kinds of vibes? Okay. And I thought it was also interesting that she has an agreement that her testimony here in her brother's trial can't be used against her because she is aware that she's an unindicted co-conspirator. The state fully believes that she was involved in the capital M of her ex-husband, the father of her children. That's what the state believes, and she's aware of this. And this is how this is going so far.
Did you know Daniel Markel?
Yes.
How did you know him?
We were married.
When did you meet Mr. Markel?
We met in the fall of my second year of law school, so fall of 2004.
And where did you meet?
We met in Washington, D.C. He was working there, and I was looking into a summer job in Washington.
And when did you get married?
In February of 2006.
And when did you live here in Tallahassee?
We lived in Tallahassee my third year of law school, so from August of 2005 until I think around maybe May or June of 2006. And then we moved to Miami for a year because Danny was interested in working at the University of Miami.
Mm-hmm.
He did not get the job at University of Miami, and so we moved back here in 2007 and lived here until 2014.
And where were the two of you employed during the time you lived here in Tallahassee?
I was employed at
Y'all are phenomenal in the comments, so that's why I just keep pulling these up. And Buttercup, this so just so all my siblings know, I have 2 brothers and a sister. Just so all y'all know, I'm not going to jail for none of y'all. And I'm a snitch. Like I will if you did something and I know, like I'm gonna like I'm turning into state's witness. Nope. Like don't do crimes. Don't involve me in crimes. I don't need anyone to do crimes for me. Like just don't do crimes. Like how don't do that. Just don't do crimes. I forgot to mention, and thank you so much to because I probably said someone's name wrong. Y'all know my name, so my brain and names. So Donna, Wendi, like me and Dan Markel, like all these names. Me and names are it's a bit of the ADHD, my processing. Not an excuse, it's just to help y'all understand. So if I said something wrong, please, please, please let me know. Okay. So we are going to get to Donna because the state is going to ask Wendi questions about her mother. Okay. And I thought some of the questions were interesting and how she answered some of the questions, I thought that was interesting as well. So we will definitely get there. And I don't think Donna could get Wendi to do anything that Wendi didn't want to do. Does that make sense? So I don't think now I don't know that Wendi would have outright said, "Do this." Does that so I don't know if they're gonna find I don't know if they'll ever press charges against Wendi. Like Wendi seems so smart in all of this. Like, unless one of the family members turn on her, and if you listen to Donna's courtroom no, her jail call with Charlie, so there's a time in that jail call where Donna doesn't know that it's recording, and she kind of comments about Wendi not really being grateful, and I'm paraphrasing here, and, mm, like, I think the only way they're ever gonna come after Wendi is if one of her family turn on her, in my opinion. Like, I think the case that the state had against Charlie was very, very strong. It seems like the case the state has against Donna, we'll see how it goes. I'm definitely gonna follow it, but wow. Alright, let's keep going.
At the FSU Center for Human Rights, and Danny was employed at FSU Law School.
Were you both professors at FSU College of Law?
Yes.
And were you living on Trescott Drive at that time?
When we were married, we lived, I think we rented a house before that, but at some point, maybe in 2008, we moved to Trescott Drive.
And is that the home that he was still living in at the time that he was killed?
That is correct.
Okay, and you were no longer living there, is that correct?
I was no longer living there.
All right, at the time he was killed, you two had children together, yes?
Yes.
And how many children did you have?
We have 2 children.
And what are their ages now?
They are 13 and 14.
What about at the time of their dad's death?
At the time of their dad's death, they were 4 and 3.
When did you separate from Professor Markell?
In the fall of 2012.
Whose decision was it to separate?
It was my decision.
And was part of the reason for the separation the two of you having differing views on how to raise your kids as far as within the Jewish faith?
I mean, it was a small part, but it was part of it.
Okay, that seemed to be something that came up a lot in your communication, so that's why I ask about it. What was the difference of opinion on that?
I mean, when we first met and started dating, Danny wasn't as observant or as religious as he became over time. And so the difference in our perspective on raising kids was about dietary choices and attendance at synagogue, things like that.
So in general, he wanted to raise the children more strictly in terms of the faith than you.
That is correct.
And it's gonna come up later. I just interrupt now. She is Jewish as well, and it sounds like they had some differences, and that can happen. That is common. There are likely deeper issues that were going on within their relationship, within their marriage, and she made it very clear that she was the one who left him, and yeah.
Did you move out of the marital home while Mr. Markell was away on a business trip?
I did, yes.
All right. And did he know that you were moving out when he left for the
Throughout her testimony, she is going to call him Danny. And to me, that is very like that's a loving way to refer to someone. And compared to testimony of other people. So to me, she is not giving off, in my opinion, she's not giving off a lot of negative vibes towards her ex-husband. I think those vibes are likely there, and I think there's a text message where her mom might call her an actress or something, or someone tells her to put on the performance of her life or something, like, that was a text message that was shared, versus the Shanda Vander Ark testimony. To me, she came off as despising her son who died, and she had a significant, like, she it was so That's the video. People freaked out over schmurder. Like, people were like, "What are you saying? Schmurder, schmurder. Like, what are you saying?" And it's just like, y'all, I wanna make sure that my videos don't get demonetized. If I say a certain word too many times, they'll demonetize my video. And so I am free to say whatever word I want, but if I say it too many times, YouTube has the right to remove ad revenue. And so, that's why I've been saying capital M. I might just throw a schmurder in for the chat every so often for people to, like, get upset and argue in the comments. I have to ignore it. I'm not good at ignoring it. I have to get better at ignoring it. Let's keep going.
For the business trip?
No, he did not.
Where did you go when you left the marital home?
I rented a home in Tallahassee.
Where was that? Do you remember the address?
Aqua Ridge Way.
3303 sound right?
That's right.
Okay. And what was the custody arrangement once you moved out of the marital home?
I mean, in the beginning, until we had a formal custody arrangement, we were just finding ways to share custody. I remember that first weekend his parents came, so I made sure he had the children all weekend while his parents were visiting from Canada. But eventually we had a 50-50 shared custody arrangement.
All right. And do you remember exactly what that looked like? Was it week on, week off, or something more complicated?
It was something more complicated. In the summertime, it was week on, week off. During the weeks, it was I think what they called like a 2-2 split, with Wednesday night being an overnight and then the weekends being every other weekend.
All right, but roughly 50-50.
50-50, but that was the split.
Okay. And I want to show you what's been introduced into evidence, State's Exhibit.
So I'm gonna fast forward a little bit because she's gonna take a second to find, and the state's gonna give her like a lot of really large documents and say, you flip to page 400 and whatever. And she does it. Like, she's like, what page? And she goes there, she reads exactly. She's like, that's what it says here. And they go back and forth that way.
But 50. So I can't see that.
Fast forward.
I do.
Is it fair to say this was a contentious litigation process that you had with your ex?
It was.
And I want to ask you about a specific filing in there. It's begins on page 43. And it's in reference to a filing on January 14th of 2013, where you were looking to relocate with the minor children. Do you recall that particular filing?
I recall the filing. You said 43. I'm not sure oh, okay.
Yes, ma'am. On the bottom, there should be page numbers for you.
Yes.
I get bored while they're
Yes,
flipping.
I recognize it.
There we go.
Okay, and that's the filing in reference to your motion for relocation?
Yes.
Okay, and did you file this motion with the intent to not be successful?
Sorry, I don't
It's
understand the
been
question.
suggested that you never thought that was going to be successful. Did you?
I think
not?
I thought there was a small chance that it would be successful, but not very likely. No.
Okay. And weren't you thinking, well, maybe Danny would be happy working somewhere else because he's mentioned applying elsewhere, so maybe he'll allow the relocation? Were you
Well,
thinking
he
that?
and I talked about the relocation. So when we talked about it, he thought, well, if I can live nearby in Miami, that might work. And then I could commute to FSU. I didn't mean for him to leave FSU, but he wanted to leave FSU at some point. So that was just a matter of time.
So you thought it might be successful?
Sure. I mean, I thought it was possible, but not.
Be among the first to be
Commercials.
captivated by Chihuly
I'm
at
back.
Biltmore,
Got
a new exhibition featuring
There we go.
Not likely.
All right. And page 46 of that document, paragraph E, references the job offer. The wife also desires to relocate to South Florida in order to provide a better quality of life for the children by increasing their access to close family and providing more stability and consistency. Who is the close family in South Florida?
The close family would have been my mom and my dad and my brother.
And which brother is that?
My brother that's here today.
Charlie Adelson?
That's correct.
Okay. What's your mom's name?
My mom's name is Donna.
Donna Adelson.
Yes, that's
What
her
a-
name.
What about your dad?
My dad's name is Harvey.
And where did Donna and Harvey live back in the time frame between 2012 and 2016?
They lived at the home I grew up in.
To me, so this is just me. To me, Charlie looks a little nervous as the defense as the prosecution is bringing up his parents. Like, to me, that's just my thought. He looks a little nervous when they all get brought up. That's just my thought. Yeah.
in Coral Springs.
And how far do they live away from you currently as we sit here today?
Currently, depends on Miami traffic, but anywhere between 15 minutes and an hour.
Right. And what kind of a relationship do you have with your parents as we sit here today?
I have a good relationship with my parents.
And has that always been the case?
I would say so.
Can you describe the relationship that your mom has with your boys?
I think it's very loving. I think she's a very dedicated grandmother.
She spends a lot of time with them, doesn't she?
She does, yeah.
And when they were little and you first moved there after Danny's death, how much time?
So I don't know how she talks normally. Okay. So to me, she kind of makes herself sound like a little girl. These are my thoughts. Okay. To me, she's making herself sound little, like an innocent. Does that, so like if I ask my son, I know he did something wrong. He did something wrong. Sometimes his voice gets really high pitch, like when he's trying to get away with something that he did wrong. I'm saying what my son does, and like it is that. Oh. So I guess there's a brother that's not connected, and that's probably the healthy one. I could be wrong, but like that's that's probably that's probably. And it just seemed like she's playing into like a cutesy, these are just my thoughts. Those are, but that's what I get from this. And we'll keep going.
Much time was she spending with them?
When I moved there after Danny's death in 2014,
How much time was your mom spending with the boys?
I mean, we were all living together at that point. So, I mean, we were spending every day together.
How were your parents employed? Are they retired now?
They're retired now.
What are they retired from?
My dad was a dentist, and my mom used to coordinate, kind of be like an office administrator at his practice.
And did she write the checks at the practice? Paychecks?
Yes. Mm-hmm. She handled all the bookkeeping.
What was the name of the practice?
The name changed over the years, but probably the name when they retired was the Adelson Institute.
And were your parents wealthy at the time that your husband was murdered?
I mean, my parents worked their whole lives to support us, right?
Mhm.
So I think the business did well for a period of time.
About $2 million in profit each year between 2013 and 2016.
They
Sound right?
never talked to me about money, so I have no idea how much the business made at any given point.
Did you just
I'm pausing it. So let me know what's happening. So equality and Amber, do I need to fix something? So let me know. So if it's the volume on here, like, cuz so when I do these live, I don't have as much control over the volume. Eventually, I'll get something like a sound thing where I can play with it a little bit more. I sometimes do it on edit. So that's why I sometimes try to come back from the mic when I pause to interrupt it. So let me know if there's something that I need. Oh, Sarah got timed out. So let me go into Nightbot. I'll see if I can fix it. Sarah, sorry about that. All right. Thank you. Thank you. So let me let me go and fix that. Let's keep going.
discuss your marital problems with your mom at all?
I did, yeah.
Okay. What about the resulting legal issues? Was your mom read in on those things?
I mean, I definitely updated her about the results of the relocation when that petition got denied, but not kind of the ins and outs of every part of our divorce.
What about your dad? Was he invested in your divorce
I mean,
status?
I think the same as my mom, just worried about me and worried about the boys.
What about your brother? Did he take an interest in the ins and outs of your divorce?
No, not really.
Did he need to protect you from Dan Markel?
No, I mean, I don't think I need protection.
Were you physically in danger from Dan Markel?
No, I wasn't in danger.
Did the litigation revolving around the divorce and the subsequent issues that arose, did that impact your family back in South Florida?
I mean, only to the extent that I think they felt bad for what I was going through, but
I want to show you an exhibit that I've marked as State's Exhibit 59. Sorry, 57, Your Honor. I think you've seen this one before as well. Does that one look familiar?
I don't remember it, to be honest. It's from 10 years ago.
Take a moment to look through it.
Sure.
When you're done, I'll let opposing counsel take a look at it, but go ahead and let us know when you're done reviewing it. All right, are those emails between you and your mother?
I don't think I responded. I think they're just emails from my mom to me. No?
Okay, mostly all from your mom.
Yeah.
Okay, and the email address says, I think it's something like Wendi Harvey. Can you tell from the content that it's your mom typing rather than your dad?
Yeah, the email's Donna Harvey, my two parents' names. So they've been married over 50 years. So they have a joint email address. So it's from both of them.
Okay, so what I want to draw your attention to is page 2 of that exhibit, that first paragraph.
Commercial.
There, above the word response.
Okay, y'all, this part's about to get a little spicy, I believe. So we're going to keep going.
Did you have an opportunity to read that?
I read it real fast,
Kind of
but
scanned.
I can read it.
And what I want to draw your attention to is specifically the part that reads, your father has made numerous trips by plane for weekends and changing the patient schedules around so he can continue to spend significant time with the children. Did you?
Are you objecting, Mr. Roush?
I just didn't hear it get admitted into evidence.
Judge, at this time, I'd ask to move this exhibit into evidence.
Any
Number
objection?
right.
No objection.
It's 57.
57 is admitted. Go ahead.
Thank you. So that paragraph, isn't that paragraph going into detail about how the issues surrounding your divorce and litigation is financially impacting in a negative way your parents' business?
That's what my mom says here. Yes.
Okay. And it also says, additionally, this loss of income affects my family because my older brother, also a dentist, purchased the practice from my father in mid-July 2012. He has a monthly payment to make to my father based on the sale of the practice. It isn't fair to him to have decreasing monthly income statements from the practice due to my parents spending so much time here in Tallahassee. So this is an argument that your mom is proposing, right, to help you, give you an idea of what might persuade the courts to allow the relocation. You agree with that?
Yes, that's what she was doing. Yes.
Okay, and she's indicating that both your parents as well as your brother have suffered financially as a result of you not being able to relocate.
Yes.
Okay. And on page, do you have page numbers in the bottom right corner of your exhibit?
I have them in the top so I can see.
Okay, so well, let me look. Give me a moment.
All right. So somebody asked a great question. When did all this happen? So this is a older. So the initial schmurder, if you will, of Dan Markel was, and I don't say that, so I like to make humor out of dark things. That was, I want to say it was 2013 or 2014, the exact dates, but this testimony was October of 2023. Okay. So this testimony was October of 2023.
Okay.
Do you see that?
I see that page.
Okay, and there's a rest of your life highlighted or underlined in the center and in bold. Do you see that?
Yes.
Okay, right before that, it reads, however, the rest of your life and consequently Dad's, mine, and yes, even Charlie's will be affected by how well you can perform/act before July 31st. You need to be a good actress you can be a good actress when you want to. I've seen you in action. You need to put on the performance of your life. Jibbers hasn't beaten the Adelson family yet. Who's Jibbers?
Jibbers, she's referring to Danny.
And was Jibbers a name he went by or just something you called him behind his back?
Jibbers was a silly nickname that I gave him during the divorce proceedings when he was being pretty scary and threatening, and it kind of made me feel less scared of him.
Okay, so not something you called him to his face.
No.
But that was a word that was only used to describe him.
Yes, it was a nickname.
Okay. So in this, again, your mom is referencing how everyone's life is being affected by this relocation, including your brother, Charlie. Do you agree with that?
That is what she said. Yes.
All right. Is your mom overprotective of you?
Yes.
All right. And is it fair to say she's, a little on the controlling side?
I don't think she's controlling, but she's definitely overprotective.
Did she ever try to micromanage your life?
Maybe, yeah.
Did she have an interest in who you were dating and who you weren't dating and who you should be dating when you were single?
I think she was usually disappointed that I wasn't dating more.
Okay. For example, isn't it true that she would not let you drive to and from Tallahassee to South Florida?
Well, I used to drive before I had the boys, but they were young and she preferred to come with me and give me some extra support.
So what would that look like if you were going to take a trip to South Florida? Would they come up here and get you or?
No, sometimes I would go myself with the kids, but I was breastfeeding both of them. So it usually looked like me breastfeeding a child while I entertained the other. And
to me, she is minimizing so many of her mom's behaviors. I think she's trying to protect her mom, in my opinion. I think she's used to how her mom acts and behaves. From what I've seen and heard, it sounds like Donna Adelson she had some really strong opinions about her children's lives and she shared them freely. That's when law nerd Amber would laugh at me for saying a lot, for like not saying what I want to say. To me, I thought it was really interesting that they're bringing up to Wendi, is your mom, because this isn't supposed to be about her mom. This is about Charlie. And so I wonder if some of this questioning caught her off guard as well, because this is Charlie's, the son. This is her brother's hearing, and here they are talking about her mom. So
and the Okahumpka rest stop. So
Okay.
it was a lot. It was helpful to have some backup.
All right. And so that time frame you'd be referencing is the 2013 time frame? Because not around the time of Danny's death, you wouldn't have still been breastfeeding, would you?
If Lincoln was 3, no, I would have stopped maybe the year before.
Okay.
So maybe
was it
2012, 2013.
Okay. And wasn't it true that around the time of the death, they were still doing this practice where they would prefer to drive you to and from South Florida?
I mean, not every time, but sometimes.
Okay. And would your mom sometimes enlist your brother Charlie to convince you to do certain things in your personal life?
Can't really think of an example of that.
Well, dating Dave was a big one on some of the materials I had.
Yeah, people like Dave.
All right. And your mom really liked Dave.
Yeah, everyone liked Dave, but we were just friends.
Okay. Did she try? So she would try to get Charlie to convince you to date a certain person.
I don't think she was getting Charlie to convince me to date Dave. I think everyone liked Dave.
All right. And would she try to get Charlie to convince you to do certain things as far as your professional life? What jobs to take?
No, I don't
She
think
didn't
so.
do that. Would she try to get Charlie to do certain things like advise you on investment decisions, whether or not you were going to buy a house, for example?
I don't think so. I don't remember that. Danny and I made that decision together.
Once you had left Dan and you were living separately, did you look into purchasing a home here in Tallahassee?
I did, yeah.
And did your brother Charlie convince you not to do that?
I don't remember him convincing me not to. The only reason why I didn't was because I was waiting on the money from Danny from the settlement and he didn't pay it, so I couldn't afford the house.
And your mom didn't want you to buy the house, did she?
That's not true. My parents were looking to buy a house in Tallahassee as well.
Okay. Did you have strike? Generally speaking, does your mom manipulate the personal lives of her children?
No.
Is your mom, like, if she's really upset about something or worked up about something, is that something that your brother Charlie is going to hear a lot about? Who's going to hear more of it, you or Charlie?
Well, if my mom's upset with me, probably Charlie. And if she's upset with Charlie, probably me.
Okay, so do you?
Y'all. So Amber asked me to come back to enmeshment. So families that are enmeshed, where it's almost like, and these are my thoughts, my opinion, within an enmeshed family, if one person is having a problem, then we're all having a problem. And we take on the problem as though it is all of ours. And in my mind, Donna doesn't seem to have very good boundaries for like where her emotions seem to like go everywhere into everything and impact everyone. Like those are my thoughts. But yeah, like to me, Donna, Wendy's mom, she comes off as incredibly controlling. And if somebody's not doing what she wants to do, she seems to get like mad about that and then will like try to convince them. It's almost like if your sister isn't calling and then your mom calls your brother to get your sister to call you. Instead of her just repairing her relationship with her daughter because like maybe the sister isn't calling for a reason. Like, do you know that the last time I talked to mom, she like I set a boundary with her and I asked her to not ask me about this and she keeps asking me about this. Like that's why. So like Donna, in my opinion, Donna seems to get into everybody else's stuff. Now, Sarah pointed out a really great thing and I think and I really so Wendi, I do not know if Wendi will ever face charges for all of this because I don't know that she asked them. I don't know. Now, and she's going to deny knowing anything about any of this. Some of my issues with Wendi is I believe Wendi changed the children's names to Adelson after Danny Markel's after her ex's death. Like so God for if something happened to my partner, I would never change the last name of our child because to me, names carry legacy. Names mean something. My mom and I, we don't have the same last name. After her divorce with my dad, she went back to her maiden name years later. So she didn't go back to her maiden name immediately. She did it, I think, when I was maybe 9 or 10 or so. excuse me, she changed her name. Now it is hard when you're a parent and you have a different last name from your child. Sometimes it can create like, because when we have the same last name, it's just a little bit easier. But like when there are different last names, it can sometimes cause a bit of an issue. But in mesh families, there is no understanding of where my feelings end and your feelings begin. So if Wendi was my daughter and she's going through a difficult custody battle, first of all, if I would do what I could, but I wouldn't go broke trying to help her with her situation. Does that make sense? Like she would need to exhaust if she was my child, she would need to exhaust her resources because maybe if she gets to the maybe y'all need to mediate or maybe you just have to accept like, hey, if y'all can't make this work and this is what this is what y'all have agreed on, like maybe you're just going to have that work. So I wouldn't go broke trying to save or rescue my child from a situation that's like it's inconvenient. Like I would love for my child to be closer to me, but them staying where they are, it doesn't hurt anyone. Like sure. Like that lets the father have a better relationship with the child. Okay. Like we tried. We wanted to get them closer. Okay. It's my understanding that Dan Markell, he filed for Donna Adelson to only have supervised visits with the kids. And Wendy's gonna downplay it. Wendy's gonna say, "Well, then he asked her to babysit." And that really wasn't like so Wendy, we all know me and names. Wendy is gonna downplay a lot of this. So let's keep going. I'm gonna keep an eye on the chat. Thank y'all for all y'all's engagement.
Do you get a lot of that? Do you hear a lot about, let's go back. Let's go to before the murder. Did you get a lot of Donna just giving you an earful about what Charlie needs to be doing?
Probably at some point.
What was Charlie doing with his personal life? What did his personal life look like
At what point?
before the murder?
I mean, at what period of time before?
All of them. Wasn't it just a revolving door of girlfriends?
Right, but my mom didn't complain to me about that.
She didn't mind that with him.
I don't understand the question.
She didn't mind if he went from girl to girl to girl. That was acceptable.
She didn't really weigh in on it, no.
Who talked to her more, you or Charlie?
Charlie.
A lot more, right?
Yeah.
At the time of Dan Markell's murder, were your parents extremely angry with Dan?
At that point, no. They were in a much better place.
I want to direct your attention to an interview that was conducted on, I think this was your law enforcement interview. So July 18th, 2014. And I'm specifically for court and counsel looking at page 27, lines 11 and 12. And I've got it open to the page, but you can flip around if you need to familiarize yourself.
Sure.
And I'll take that exhibit if you want.
I'm gonna fast forward a little.
One page.
They're
There
finding it.
lines and my parents are, very angry toward him. Is that true?
Was
Isn't
that
that
true?
what you said? Your parents were very angry toward Dan.
Can I read the rest of the sentence?
Sure.
So I say, my parents are very angry towards him, but even when they're around my kids, they would never say a bad word about my kid's father.
And then on page 288, line 24 through page 289, line 1. And that's going to be, didn't you say, it's like my parents have more reason to dislike Danny than almost anyone else? Is that what you said?
That is what I said.
And that's because he hurt you, right?
And I was saying that in the context of talking to law enforcement for hours and hours and trying to help them figure out who might be responsible.
Right. And who did you tell them might be responsible?
Well, I told them many, many people, but are you asking about this particular moment right here,
You told them your family might be responsible.
or
didn't
potentially
you?
someone to do with a former student or his current girlfriend. I mentioned lots of people that I thought could be responsible.
Okay. And of the lots of people that could have been responsible, your family was one.
Yep.
Because they might have done this thinking it would help you. And that's what happened, right?
I'm sorry, I don't understand the question.
Your family had your ex-husband killed to try to help you, didn't they?
No, that's completely untrue.
So like if something happened, I would never say it might have been like I would never mention my family. Does that make sense? Like how does that come up? How does that just come up? That is very, very odd. That was very strange to me. They are going to get into reading some of the texts, but like some of the things Donna has said about Danny and the smirk, Charlie's reaction. I want to talk about that part. So let's keep going for this part, and then I'm going to try to find. If this goes for too long, I'll switch.
And back to the divorce, the petition where Danny is responding to your petition for the motion to relocate. Are you familiar with that filing, or do you need to take a look at it?
I need to take a look at it.
All right, it's going to be page 79 through 101, and this is back to our exhibit 56.
A performance that truly matters.
I'm going to fast forward a little because they really do.
Specifically interested in 80. Doesn't Mr. Markel say, quote, the husband affirmatively alleges that the wife helped herself to non-marital assets, including money and stocks owned prior to marriage, as well as numerous personal non-marital belongings of the husband, such as luggage, bicycle, tennis racket, and family heirlooms. The wife has refused to return these items or to allow the husband into her home to see what other personal belongings were taken without his permission or acquiescence. So my point is, he's accusing you of theft in this paragraph.
Those are the words that are here, yes.
Yeah, and he's very adamantly objecting to your relocation, right? On page 82, it says the sole stated reason the wife seeks to relocate is so that she can be closer to her parents. Was being near your parents the sole reason that you wanted to relocate?
No,
It wasn't the sole reason stated in your petition?
it wasn't the sole reason stated in my petition, and it wasn't the sole reason that he and I talked about before I filed the motion to relocate.
Why was he so adamant and so confident that this was the real reason you wanted to be down there?
I think there's a lot of things in these pleadings.
All right, so I'm going to skip ahead a little bit to the time when, 34 minutes, when they start reading Donna's text. So I'm going to skip ahead just a little bit to talk about this part. All right.
Was Mr. Markel seeking to depose your mom as part of the divorce?
I don't remember that.
Do you know if it ever happened?
I don't think it happened. I don't remember it.
Was the prospect of that upsetting to your mom?
I don't think so. I don't remember it, so I don't remember talking with her about it. Or
Did your mom call Dan any disparaging names around this time frame?
well, I just read them in the emails, but I
Okay.
don't remember them independently.
Okay. Did she call him an asshole,
Yes,
a narcissist, a
yes,
bully,
yes,
religious zealot,
yes.
bastard?
That I don't remember.
Page 5.
Okay. Is it page 5 from the?
So I think Charlie finds those words funny. Does that make sense? And he's going to keep, because the prosecutor is going to keep saying the things that Donna called Danny. And so
The first email?
Yes, if you'll just go through by the physical pages.
I see. Yes.
I'm sorry, what was your answer?
Yes.
Fucker?
Yes.
But in all the filings made on your behalf by the different lawyers that you had, and all of the emails that your mom sent, he was never described as abusive.
I mean, he was described as emotionally abusive, yes.
Can you show me where he was described as emotionally abusive in any of those items?
Well, not by my mom, but in the pleadings.
Okay, show me that.
It's going to take me a while to find it.
Okay, well, it's
You want me to
not in there, but you can get back to me
Well,
with it.
it is in there.
Objection, Your Honor.
What's your objection?
The comment, she's not testifying.
Hold on, please.
So, y'all, is there something else related to this family that we needed to make sure that we definitely talked about? Any questions that you all wanted to talk about? I do think there's a lack of emotional maturity with Charlie, and in my opinion, he does come across as immature and kind of juvenile. But I think his okay, I think his mom might have liked him staying that way. Does that like it's weird because if he had ever like and he had like a lot of money, so it wasn't financially that way, but he didn't seem responsible. Oh, darn. Okay, good. I'm not muted. Am I muted? Y'all let me know if I'm muted. I hope I'm not muted. Okay. To me, he definitely sounds like he was so there are times when a parent can benefit from their child not getting their wings. So if Charlie had ever gotten married and settled down with his own family, he wouldn't have time to talk with his mom as much as he did. He wouldn't have had time to do all those things. I don't know that she ever said like I think in her mind she would have said she wanted him to do all those things, but like subconsciously because it works for him to be in this role in a dysfunctional family. So in a dysfunctional family, there are different roles. It sounds like the brother that bought the father's like it sounds like that brother might have escaped some of this, the older brother. Charlie to me sounds like the kind of the F up, like, I don't know, like he's the one that just kinda couldn't get it together, but I think the family benefits from having someone that like, gets all of this negative attention and that, ugh, they just can't get it together. And then Donna might have kind of sorry, Wendy, I keep calling her Donna, my bad. Wendy might have been the golden child, and to me, in my opinion, I think Donna enabled a lot. So I think the mom came off as enabling, in my opinion, based on just kind of family dynamics. And there seemed to be this codependence. A friend of mine describes codependence as over functioning in someone else's life and under functioning in your own. If Donna was my client, I would have tried to work on her getting her own. Like she seems way too involved and cares way too much about all the things that her kids are doing more than just typical parent. Does that make sense? Like it seems she just seems way too invested and not just letting the kids be who they are in in my opinion. Um and all right, so this is a great question, Beth. What dynamics make it so that some adult children distance themselves and others don't? So I think in families, everyone is going to find their way. And it's kind of normal. Sometimes you're just kind of closer to one parent versus another. From what I've seen, it sounds like Donna didn't have very good boundaries. And there are people that distance themselves from their parents and it's for a reason. And because maybe their parent doesn't respect their parenting choices or they don't respect their like they might make statements that are hurtful about their partner or about their life decisions. And so I think there are lots of different reasons why adult children can distance themselves from a parent. Sometimes it's just so it might be that my adult child isn't adhering to whatever boundaries I set. So like when my son, if he was 21 years old, still living at the house, I he would be paying like a minuscule like he'd be paying like $300 a month in rent. Like if you're gonna live here, you're 20, he would be paying me something. And I might put that money away in like an account for him to get that money once he was able to get his own apartment or get his own place. But anytime as an adult, and it was true. So I lived with my mom for a period of time as an adult, and I paid some. I didn't pay real rent. Like I was paying the light bill. Like I wasn't paying real rent. I respected her boundaries, so I would still let her know, like, "Hey, I'm going salsa dancing. I should be back around like 1 a.m." Or hey, I'm going to hang out with some friends. I'm just going to stay there with them. I'm not planning to come home tonight, even though I'm a grown adult and I don't have to tell her where I'm going, just for safety. So I know that my mom, she doesn't sleep well. Like if I'm out, if she doesn't know like when to expect me or anything like that. I also view it as a safety thing where if I just go and just disappear for periods of time, it might be because I like watching crime stuff, but it's like, hey, if I ever go missing, I want to be reported really, really soon. Like, I only want to be missing for like a little bit, like an hour or something. And somebody's like, wait a minute, Patrice normally, like, nobody knows, nobody's heard from her. Like, let's check in on her. And so, those are some of my thoughts. I agree. It does seem like and there are some cultures, there are some families, there are some situations that people just tend to be very involved in their family. And so I am not Jewish, and I watched a parenting show, and sometimes in certain cultures, in some families, it's really normal for the parent to be very involved within a child's life. This went too far. If it involved like unaliving someone's, like, ex-partner, like, that's definitely a problem. Donna is innocent until proven guilty. Wendi, I don't even know that they'll charge her. I really, really don't know that they will ever have enough to actually charge her. I think they know she knows more than she might be admitting to. She said that she thinks um that she what's the word? She thinks, that she completely told the truth about everything. Like, I think that's what she said in her correspondence with her mother. Uh, Wendi is the youngest child, I believe. I'm almost positive. Wendi is the youngest. Alright. So, I can't handle real violence, but, like, I like hearing about these things or reading about them, like, that's what I like to do, and, so the earrings are from Amazon. I've been going way yes, so you can do something non-learning if you wanna watch YouTube Kids, or you can go see Dada in the basement, okay? Okay. Okay, go see Dada. Have a good one. That was my child. Y'all know about 3 o'clock, his quiet time ends, and I might get interrupted. And so he was doing learning on the iPad, and now he's gonna go hang out with dad. So I have these linked on Amazon, and let me try to see if I can find the direct link to them. The O is Africa, and so I do ask if people are not of African descent. So like these are like African pride kind of things, and so but those are the earrings. I absolutely love them. I want to get some psych nerd ones made, and so if you know anyone that can like make custom earrings, I would really love some psych nerd earrings that are multicolor like this. That would be awesome. I tried to contact one person on Instagram and they never got back to me. I am too. Okay. So SL Conley. So y'all know. And there's a difference between snitching and reporting. Like snitching is, hey, we're both in trouble and I'm trying to get out of trouble. So I tell on you. Reporting is I wasn't involved, but I'm telling you what I know because justice. And so, no, I am not ride or die. I want to live. Like, nope, I am not. Oh, I love Dr. G. All right. Um, all right. And so I did watch his coverage of her police interrogation. So there was a police interrogation. I think he's the one that caught, because she kind of almost says, like, she almost, when she was talking about something, she almost said, like, she almost let something slip out. And so, lost that. But yes, yes. So the O is Africa. They came with, like, it was like a an African pride set. So that's where they came from. Ooh, beautifully broken. It's on Instagram. I will definitely take a look, because I would like. Amazon has everything, and I'm sorry for, so I like to support small businesses, so I don't mind supporting a small creator on on Instagram, but sometimes people, they don't they don't get back to you. And Amazon, and they make it real easy. If I don't get my stuff, I just say, "Hey, I didn't get my stuff," and they give me my money back, and it's super easy. And so I do support small bookstores as well. There's something called like Bookshop. I want to say that's the one. Amazon, I like free shipping, so that's why I do a lot of Amazon. So, yes, yes, yes. I'm so glad to get to hang out with you all today. 176 of you. Like, what? Thank y'all for joining the stream. Let me know. So I get my ideas of like what to come, what should come next. I get a lot of that from you all. I am going to be watching this coming week. Let me see if I have anything. So Sarah Boone is next Friday. So we might be talking about Sarah Boone next Saturday. If anything major happens on Friday with Sarah Boone, um, unless her trial was pushed off again, I'll have to check. But for some reason, I have written on the 26th that something's supposed to happen with her case. So I'm definitely watching that one. If you all have any things that y'all would like for me to cover, please let me know. We just have to do it from a psychological perspective. I want to learn. Okay, so I need to look this one up. Michelle, I have to call her Michelle T. I don't know that I can say that. I can try. I'll listen to the news. If I hear it, I can say it, but okay. So I will have to look that one up. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day. You all have a good one.